This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 train. The next stop is Wall Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome back. This is Not Your Advisor with NYU Grad on Thursday, April 10th. I usually backload these episodes for paying subscribers with premium content, but today may be flipped. Instead of doing 40-60, I might do 60-40, vice versa. So let's jump right in. So I have some important things to go over today. I'm going to do the usual market breakdown, but yesterday, I want to continue upon yesterday. We covered, obviously, the second largest Nasdaq percentage gain day yesterday on Wednesday, April 9th. So I did not share the largest percentage losses with you when I did that podcast. So I have pasted the entire top 20 percentage gainers and top 20 percentage losers for the Nasdaq composite in the show notes. And I just want to kind of cover that for you all. And then I'm going to cover some isms or adages that you'll likely hear from typical Main Street financial advisors. Not like the really good ones, but the typical ones. And then we'll cover more of the markets. But I'll start with breadth, as I usually do. Today was a bad day, and the markets had every reason to have a continuation day after that record reversal yesterday. But taking a look at breadth, we had 73 new highs on the NYSE versus 285 new lows. 14% of stocks advanced versus 84% declining. 90% were below the 50-day. 85% were below its 200-day moving average. Now, futures were red. We opened and sold off immediately. And to continue on this theme of percentage gain, percentage loss for the Nasdaq, at one point, the Nasdaq composite was down 6.5%, which would make the list of the top 20 largest percentage losers for a session. However, we did bounce. We closed the session down 4.3% on the Nasdaq, which still is horrible. 737 points. To put this in perspective, right? Let me go through the top line numbers. The Dow down 1,014 points or 2.5%. The Nasdaq down 4.3%. The S&P down 188 points or 3.4%. Anyone who bought the tariff news on Wednesday, even 10 minutes after the tariff news hit, if you did not buy in like the first 8 minutes of that news, you are red. You have a loss if you held. This is after the second largest percentage gain day for the Nasdaq. I want you to think about that. And this is all going to tie in later to what a lot of advisors say during these times. The other thing I want to kind of extrapolate on, if you look on the show notes, and I'll share with you if you're just in the car listening, and you take a look at the largest percentage loss for a session on the Nasdaq, first place is March 16th, 2020. That is during the COVID lockdown. That day, the Nasdaq lost 12.3% in one session. If you go to, obviously, this data, it doesn't go back. I don't know how far this data goes back, to be quite honest. But if you look at 1987, it's a close second. It was down 11.3% in one day. I circled it in the show notes, the first position. March 16th, 2020. If you go to the percentage gainers, 3 sessions prior to that loss, we had a top 6 percentage gainer of 9.3%. And if you look at the dates of all of these winners and loser days, you can start to match up thematically. They all happen in clusters. And I covered this yesterday. The largest face-ripping rallies happen during bear markets. And this is proof. Let's keep going. The next topic I want to cover is a premium-only indicator that I use intraday. It's almost like a lie detector test. And if the markets are rallying, but this lie detector is not rallying, it tells you that that rally might be a fake out. Vice versa. If the market's selling off, but this lie detector is not selling off or even going opposite and maybe starting to turn up, that's telling me the sell-off might be a fake out. And same thing, if this lie detector is moving in the same direction as the market, and the market is either rallying hard or falling fast, that is also a confirmation that they're telling you the truth, or the intentions of the market is telling the truth. And I want to just share a screenshot of some of the private chats, because, on this podcast, I do about 4 or 5 minutes for free subscribers, an additional 10, 15 minutes for paid. But during the day, intraday, I also give kind of a play-by-play on the private chats for paying subscribers. And this is just a sample of it without giving away the secret sauce. At 1:49 p.m., I posted on that private chat, quote, "This is what the strongest bounce oomph looks like per my system. I don't trust it." And this is a screenshot of the ES S&P futures contract, at which time I posted that. And we were starting to bounce. And I've also included the NQ, or the Nasdaq composite futures. So you can take a look at that. At 2:43 p.m., I posted, quote, "If breadth doesn't improve, don't be shocked by selling into the close." And here is a image after that quote of the NQ futures in a 5-minute chart. I've circled when I made those comments in the chat in a white box or white circle, and you can see we tried to rally, and we rallied pretty hard from 18,400 to 18,600. So if you're a day trader trading the futures, you could have made some real good coin. But for most people who have a job, are in and out of office meetings all day, it's hard to keep track of all this. But if you had listened to this lie detector indicator, it would have kept you, or at least warned you not to buy that rally or buy the dip mentality, because we sold off into the close. And if you would like access to this indicator and how to use it, it is available for paying subscribers. It's, I think, well worth the ROI. The next thing I wanted to cover real quickly are some of the adages or sayings that you'll likely hear now or in any sell-off from your advisor. So I'm just going to kind of rattle off some of these. I'm not going to read them for verbatim, but pop quiz, I want you to think about this question. What principle is glaringly missing in these statements? One key advantage of 401k plans is it's automatic, it's consistent, it's dollar cost averaging, so it lowers your cost basis. The second one, avoid the temptation to move your investments to cash during market drops, as this can lock in losses and cause you to miss out on the rebounds that have followed every historical downturn. If you've got more than 5 years left until you retire, there's no reason to hit the panic button. Over the long haul, stocks have been the best performing asset class and the ones most likely to outpace inflation. The overarching message is that it's very important not to get too wrapped in the flavor of the week or focus and to focus strictly on the longer term. We've told other long-term investors that they should be excited to see the market in a corrective period. That's another way to say, hey, if you loved NVIDIA at whatever, 150, you'll love it. You should love it at 80. I hear that all the time. Or stocks are cheap. That's another one. We get big moves down, then big moves up. If you look at the 20 best trading days over the past 50 years, half of them happened during big moves down in the market. Investors who sit on the sideline risk missing crucial rebounds, leaving them worse off. And I'm going to address some of this. But the answer to the pop quiz, what's missing? What's missing is the absence of a selling rule or selling rules and risk management systems. Wall Street wants you to always be in and always be long. They believe you are too dumb to sell. Only Wall Street is sophisticated enough to take profits and buy lower. So a lot of these adages have some truth to them. But you have to look at, number one, how old you are, when you need this money. Number two, you have to look at where you bought, right? Because I was taught very early on in life, you make your money or the profit when you buy a thing. You simply book that profit when you sell the thing. It doesn't have to be stocks. It could be anything. It could be your house. It could be your Pokemon cards. If you buy right, if you buy at a good value, you're making your profit there. You simply realize that hard work on buying right at the end when you book the gain. So again, it's when you need the money, how old you are, when you're going to retire. The second piece is where you bought a thing. Many people buy wrong. If you have a Wall Street system that always wants you to buy, always wants you to be in, you're always buying. No matter if it's the right time to buy or not, you're always buying. You have a 401k, you're always buying. Your passive investing is always buying. Your average costing all the time. You're always buying, right? When you have big sell-offs at times when it's not opportune to your life, to your age, you may be stuck for 15 years in those purchases because you bought wrong, at the wrong time, at the wrong price. This doesn't get talked about enough, right? So again, there are a lot of DIY investors and DIY traders with the whole YouTube thing, with the whole Wall Street bets thing, with the whole COVID lockdowns. Everyone's a day trader. Everyone. There's so many newsletters, there's so many YouTube channels, and everyone is a day trader. But I'm telling you from experience, the majority of the content out there, A, is not quality, B, has an ulterior motive. So you need to be very careful and really think about those two questions. When do I need the money? And where did I buy? How did I buy? Did I buy right? Because if you need the money the next 3 years, 5 years, and you bought wrong, you have decisions to make. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep peeling this onion. Let's look at sectors. So every sector was red today, except for consumer defensive. Consumer defensive was up 0.31%. Energy led to the downside, 5.9%. Tech was down 4.3%. Consumer cyclical down 4%. Communication services down 3.6%, financials down 3.3%, healthcare 3%, industrials 2.8%, real estate 2.6%, basic materials 1.8%, utilities down almost 1%. Looking at mega caps, they're all red. Microsoft was down 2%, Apple 3.5%. These are after like record pops yesterday. Amazon down 5.1%, Tesla 7.4%, Meta 6.5%, Google 3.3%, Nvidia 5.7%. What was strong in the S&P? Newmont Mining up 4.6%, Market Taxes Holdings 3.8%, Erie Indemnity 3.1%, American Waterworks 3%, Kroger 2.9%, United Health Group 2.7%, Con Edison 2.3%, Exelon 2.3%, the Cigna Group 2.28%. In the Nasdaq 100, you had Electronic Arts up 2.07%, O'Reilly Automotive 2%. What was weak in both indices? I can't cover all of this, but this list is very long. After a record day, Charles River Labs 29.8%, CarMax 16.7%. These are all percentages. Monolithic Power 13.7%, Microchip Technology 13.2%, Discovery 12.6%, APA Corp 12.6%, United Airlines 11.5%, NXP Semiconductors 11.1%, On Semiconductors 10.9%, Delta Airlines 10.9%, Devon Energy 10.6%, Skyworks Solutions 10.4%, Lyondell Basel Industries, I don't know what they do, down 10.1%, Carnival 9.9%. I'm going to stop at that point. In the NASDAQ 100, I'm going to try to dedupe because a lot of these are dupes. Marvell Technology down 13.2%, NXP Semiconductor 11.1%, On Semiconductor 10.9%, Analog Devices 9.28%, Trade Desk down 9%, Diamondback Energy 8.7%, CDW down 8%, AMD down 8%, Strategy Inc. down 8%, Intel 7.6%, Applied Materials 7.3%, Texas Instruments 7.1%, Lam Research 7.02%. In the that's it. Yeah, that was the Nasdaq. So let's switch over to macro.
We can't forget that this is just a small taste of the in-depth analysis that Not Your Advisor provides. They don't just throw numbers at you. They connect the dots, find those hidden trends, and help you understand what's driving the markets.
If you want the full picture, you got to check out the full Not Your Advisor episode.
Don't forget to subscribe to notyouradvisor.com.
And all their premium content. I mean, it's like having a direct line to what's really going on in the market.
It is. It really is. They cut through all the BS and give you the kind of info that you just won't find anywhere else.
Think about this. Investing is all about making decisions that work for you and your goals. You're the one in control.
Not Your Advisor can give you the map, but you choose where you want to go.
And with that empowering thought, we'll sign off. Happy investing.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.